Hello and welcome to the Swan Song Project Podcast. My name is Ben Buddy Slack and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project and the host of this podcast. The Swan Song Project is a charity and we help people living with terminal illnesses or dealing with bereavement to write and record an original song. We believe in celebrating lives, making memories and leaving legacies. If you'd like to find out more about the charity and if you'd like to access the service yourself, we can support anyone with terminal illness or dealing with bereavement across England and Wales. You check out our website, which is swansongproject.co.uk. The podcast features songwriters, and we have a conversation about how they write their songs and about a song that's meaningful to them in some way related to bereavement. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those places. Please subscribe, like, share the podcast. We're trying to boost the numbers for it, so that's all we appreciate. This is episode 59, and it features Waiting for Wednesday. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Anna and Laura, collectively known as Waiting for Wednesday. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're looking forward to talking to you. So this is the Swan Song Project Podcast. If you're new to the show, we have different songwriters on, and every episode I ask them to share with us one of their songs. We have a conversation about how they wrote it. I ask them to share with us a songwriting tip. I also ask them to share a song that's meaningful to them in some way relating to bereavement. So I'll hand you over now, and if you'd like to introduce the song of yours for us, please.
Yeah, so we've chosen our original song called Beautiful Road. And the reason why we chose it is because it is kind of about bereavement in the sense that it was written after I lost my grandma, which was quite a long time ago now. But I think that it's relevant because kind of writing that song helped me kind of cope with the loss of my grandma, and it helped me to channel my sadness really through lyrics and music. It was something that I actually wrote. I wrote the song before I met Anna. Yeah. So it was one that I'd kind of written and put in the backlog really, and it was reborn when Anna and I started playing together, and it sort of gave it a new life and new sound and everything. And it's just a place where I can like hold those emotions really and those feelings and memories of my grandma. So it's really special song.
Come the end of the road for you. What a beautiful road it has been. I saw the end of the road for you. I saw the end of the road for you. I saw the end of the road for you. What a beautiful road it has been. What a beautiful road it has been.
Okay, brilliant. So that was Beautiful Road by Waiting for Wednesday. Yeah, it's a great song. I really love it. It really resonated with me a lot when I first heard it. Anyone who knows anything about Swan Song, I started it after losing my grandma, and similar kind of feelings there. And the song's got a real time. It's one of them songs where when I heard it, I was like, this could have been written 100 years ago. It feels like it's kind of got that timeless quality, that it could be like part of a great songbook tradition, really.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a really powerful song. So you mentioned briefly before about how therapeutic it was writing it. How soon after your grandma's death did you start writing it? And was the idea there of because I really love what a beautiful road it's been. It's kind of not, like when people often say someone's had a good innings, don't they? There's the kind of phrase, and it's nice to have that acknowledged in a song, really.
Yeah, definitely. And she really did have a really happy and full life. So as much as death, it's sad, bereavement's a painful process. I think that that song kind of has a positive spin on it, with the, what a beautiful road it's been. I saw the end. I was there when she passed away. It's a moment in my life that I'll remember forever. But what's more important about my grandma's life was everything that came before that moment, really. And I think that that kind of is captured in the song, really, with that line.
I remember when I heard Laura sing it for the first time, that was the bit that caught me. I just thought, oh, what a lovely way to tribute, your grandmother.
Yeah.
Just thought it was beautiful. And it's kind of, it's got, in the verses, it's kind of reflective and sad and sort of searching in ways, and then it just brings it back to kind of a really lovely sentiment. And I just think it's a gorgeous song. It's one of my favorite ones to kind of sing.
Yeah,
I just
it's
think
a fun song to sing.
Yeah,
as well,
it is.
isn't it? I think it's one that a lot of people relate to as well, because of the message behind it. But when you say how long after my grandma passed away, I'm not even sure. It was such a long time ago now, that she actually when she actually died. So, but I imagine it was probably, I think I was at uni.
Well, we've been together 10 years, we just realised this week, which is bonkers. And it was probably
that's a long time.
And
we're getting old.
We are. But it was the year before that, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, I can barely remember what I did yesterday. So, but it was within a year of losing my grandma. I wrote quite a few songs, really, about those feelings. And Beautiful Road was one. There was another, Over Her Shoulder, which was kind of a spin-off of Beautiful Road, really. So the lyrics in that open with, "This is a beautiful road." So it's kind of like a sequel for that song. But yeah, it's another thing, with it, the guitar, I think the song's kind of evolved as well, where it probably started out when I first wrote it probably sounded quite sad, and then as me and Anna have worked together and performed it multiple times, it's kind of become quite a jaunty. It's got kind of a jaunty sort of vibe to it, really. But my sister always calls it the reggae song.
Yeah.
She said, "I'll play that reggae song."
Waiting for Wednesday to do reggae, yes.
Just because of the upbeat on the guitar, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting how songs kind of evolve like that as well over a period of time.
Yeah, definitely. And particularly when you're playing with different people. So what was it like when you'd written it before you'd met Anna, and then when you were getting together, was it like you both just played songs that you'd each done and chose which ones to do? And
I'd never ever written a song before I met Laura. No, I was in a covers band before, only for about a year before that. I kind of didn't get into singing publicly till in my mid-20s, really. I didn't have the confidence before, which some people might not believe that, but I actually didn't ever think I'd be able to front a band or anything like that. So I was in a kind of rock covers band, and then I saw Laura sing at an open mic night, and just, to be honest, fell totally in love with her. I thought, oh God, I need to, write songs with her and sing with her.
And I never thought she'd want to sing with me.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. She's like this incredible songwriter with the most beautiful voice. And then, so when we first jammed together on a Wednesday, which is why we're called Waiting for Wednesday, we went over basically all of Laura's songs that she's written. And
I just want to interject there, when we started that and Anna was singing my songs, I was like, oh my gosh, wow, they've found their home, this is where they belong.
Yeah, there was a blues song called In Blue, and Laura was like, this one's for you for sure.
Yeah.
And then we've written songs together sort of after that, but it started off by doing Laura's songs, because Laura's got, at that point, had hundreds of songs,
stacks of them. There's a lot of rubbish in there too.
It's kind of nice sometimes, I guess, if you've got stacks of songs, to kind of have someone else to sound them off, I guess, and see which ones are going to stick and which ones are going to
and
stay in the file.
With Anna singing them as well, it just gave them a completely new personality altogether. It was great.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it, of writing for your voice or writing for someone else's voice. You can do things very differently if you're writing something that you're not necessarily going to sing and a particular type of voice is going to sing it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so how has that developed over the years, Anna? So are you co-writing more stuff now?
Shortly after, when we met, we were both going through, I was particularly going through a rather tumultuous time in my personal life. And I think that the timing of meeting Laura was perfect for me expressing my creativity in writing songs. So I wrote a song. I didn't write the song. I wrote lyrics because I don't play anything particularly well. Well, I don't know. I don't play anything. I used to play the piano and saxophone back in school, but I don't have any talent with that. So I wrote some lyrics to reflect on what was happening, to kind of get it out, and I gave it to Laura, and Laura came back to the next practice with it, and it was this amazing country song that it just fitted so well with the lyrics, and she kind of tweaked the lyrics, or suggested to tweak the lyrics, because I kind of didn't have any experience, and I wrote quite literally sort of how I was feeling, which was probably a bit OTT, and nobody really needed to hear that.
It was great.
But yeah, it worked out that way, and then I've written a few more since then that we still have in the set and things. Yeah, but I have to say, Laura is the songwriter. With I attempt some lyrics at times, but that's essentially where I stop, really.
But Anna brings the soulful vocals, and like I say, completely brings the songs to life, which is amazing.
Well, we're a team, I think, that just works really well.
A good team.
Yeah.
Soul sisters.
Yeah, definitely. It's great, and it's great that he's because obviously it's been 10 years or so now that that you've got that connection and that way of working together, and that is that's one of the things I always say. I know so many great musicians, but who need someone else or need a band, and that's the hardest part, isn't it? It's getting the people to work with that you can work with over a long time and still enjoy the company and still
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. I think we definitely landed on our feet when we met each other, really, because like you say, it's so hard to find band members where not only you sound great together, but you've got that chemistry and banter and friendship and everything. And, you know, we've managed to work solidly for 10 years as a pretty successful duo, and we're still best mates.
Yeah,
you know, it hasn't ruined.
No, it hasn't at all. No, it hasn't at all. If anything, you know, we have if we ever make mistakes and things, we just laugh. We're just, you know,
it's so much fun on stage.
Could actually try being a comedy duo instead sometimes. It just turns into absolute chaos sometimes, but it's so funny. So it's great.
I like to take the audience with us on that banter ride, banter train.
I'm sure if anybody's watching who comes to our gigs, they'll understand. After a few too many beers, probably.
Yeah, it's always been a really important thing for me with live music. Is when you see an act enjoying themselves, it's really contagious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Back to the song, there's a few lyrics in it that I really loved that I just wanted to like flag up for you, and see if any thoughts on the is it I remember you in the seams of my clothes?
Yeah. When my grandma died, I inherited her sewing machine, which was like a really bulky, old, clunky thing that I never really got to grips with and never really understood quite how to use it. And anyway, I started making this 1940s tea dress for a friend's wedding. And I went for sewing classes and everything to like learn how to do it. And basically it took me a good part of a year to like make this dress. And anyway, in the end, my friend who's a seamstress just took it off me and finished it for me. But you know, I've even though it's not the best garment in the world, I've still got it, and it's something that I'll keep forever. And I did wear it to the wedding as well, thanks to my friend who sorted it out for me. But it's I think with that as well, that sewing machine didn't work out for me, but I am thinking about getting another one as well to kind of honour grandma's dressmaking skills. I will carry on trying.
Yeah, it's one of them lyrics that just stood out to me. It's like, I want to ask about that and find out what the story is there.
Little story there.
Yeah, it's a great lyric. Before we move on, I was just going to ask you again, Laura, you mentioned about the kind of like therapeutic benefits of writing at the time of what you were going through. Could you say a little bit more about that for us, and I guess how the song feels and felt when you first completed it?
Yeah, well, I think music is like, it does have a really therapeutic kind of quality to it, whether you're listening or writing. I think with all of the songs that I've written and that we've written together, there's been like there've been an emotional outlet in some way. And I think writing that song, it probably, to be honest, most of my songs, when I start writing, I don't know what I'm going to write about. It kind of just comes out. So I didn't sit down and think I'm going to write a song about how I'm feeling about my grandma. I just literally started scribbling away, and then it's not. What's kind of interesting is I've said this a few times. Like when I look at the finished product, and then I think that's actually about that. Like this is about that time in my life. I can see, you know, what I meant there. Because I kind of just get lost in writing, really. And I definitely did more when I was younger. I think writing was kind of really second nature to me back then. I think as I'm getting older, it's getting harder to write, but something that I definitely need to sort of get back to as soon as I can.
It's hard, you know, families now, you know, 2 kids each, children, and you know, those things do get in the way, but we are looking to kind of get writing and doing some fresh things again. And I think it, you know, you've got it in, you've just got the gift, and it'll come. It's a little block, but it'll be back, you know.
Yeah, it's a little block at the moment, but it's still there. I think it's inside everybody, like the ability to do it, and just kind of got to let go, really.
Yeah, that's great advice. And like, I sympathize. I'm feeling a bit of a block myself at the minute with writing, and I think like it's I mean, it's easy to beat yourself up about it, and like I'm the same. When I was younger, I used to just write all the time, and it was just like second nature. It was just part of my day was I'd do X amount of writing. But now I find it a lot harder to sit myself down. One of the things now that I think is a big factor in it is they're not gigging. So like I know you would gig a lot as well, and for me that was always, I mean, the therapeutic element of the songwriting and the like self-reflection was a big part of it. But the main thing for me was I want songs that I can share with people. I want to play these songs live. Yeah. And now that's not been a thing for so long. So that's what I'm kind of hoping once we start playing live again and you start getting that buzz and connection with an audience, and it gets that inspires that again to get some new songs out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it makes a big difference, like you say. And the feedback that you get from people, it kind of spurs you on to do more as well.
Yeah, there was something in one of the podcasts a few weeks ago with Michael Esser, we were talking about, he said that music's kind of become something he does in a room by himself, which was never what it was meant to be, which really, really kind of hit me. Like that was it. I never got into music to play my guitar in the studio by myself. It was always to play with friends and in front of people and have a good time with it. So, but fingers crossed we're on our way back there.
Yes, touch wood. Let's get there.
Yeah. Good stuff. So let's move into section 2 now, shall we? This is where I ask my guests to share with us a songwriting tip. So what would your tip be for us?
I mean, I'll just do one thing that somebody said to me once was just about when I was writing lyrics, I'd shared them with another friend once, and she actually said, it's kind of too obviously about, a specific subject, and you can make songs more sound maybe not as personal to you, to you, open it up kind of to a wider audience by being less literal, which for a beginner was quite handy to know, really. And then just working with Laura at the beginning was all, things don't need to rhyme, you don't need to have it kind of so, how you polished and how you think that a song should be, So I think those would be mine, and things that I learned from, but I'm still learning, like I said, so hand over to Laura on that.
Well,
just on that, it's just constant journey, isn't it, of learning. But in terms of the making things less literal, do you have any ways of going about that? Like, would you write things out in a literal way, and then do you have any methods of?
Well, the only way I would do it was I'd bounce it off somebody else to help me, really. To be honest, I'd probably give it to Laura and go.
You also, I remember from a long time ago when we used to write songs, you changing I to you. Yeah. So instead of instead of it coming from, kind of Anna's perspective, it was kind of like reflecting it onto somebody else.
That was on Cast Aside. The lyrics for Cast Aside.
That was it. Yeah. And that's a great song, Cast Aside. One of my favourites that we do. So that was like one form of
changing it.
One method of making it less literal, I suppose, in some way, or less about. Because
there's the thing with Waiting for Wednesday is a lot of our songs are kind of personal journeys or stories, or about loss or love and all those kind of emotive topics. But and that is a big part of why I enjoy it so much, because it's really cathartic and it's really emotional to sing some of them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to tell everybody kind of your deepest, darkest things, so there's ways of writing the songs or changing the songs to make it less direct, perhaps.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about when it's done right, isn't it? It's that having that cathartic expressive element, but then it's the art form of it as well, so that's the kind of trick, isn't it, of getting that raw expression but then shaping it into the song in a way. How do you like with like This Beautiful Road's a good example, but some of the other songs that you say that are quite heavily emotive, what's the how do they feel playing them over the years? Does the performance feel differently over the years? Does that question make sense?
They've just developed, haven't they? Even like you were saying with Beautiful Road, if you listen to recordings of us doing some of the older songs at the beginning and then now, it's crazy, really, how they've changed.
There's probably more feeling in them as well, really, as we've gotten older and have more life experience as well.
And the connection between me and Laura has only ever grown and grown. So, and our performing has only ever kind of gotten stronger, I guess, together. So it's interesting to see how they've changed over the years. On
kind of like the songs kind of matured with us. In respect, really. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, I always like to think of songs as being like living things, and and you carry them with you, and they kind of grow with you. Like as you know, your voice changes as you get older, or you start to change. You adapt to the things, and like the song has got new life, and every time you play it. And
and the thing that I love about sort of the songs that we have is that I don't get bored with singing them. No. And we've sung them so many times. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, probably. And they just don't. And I think that's because they're important to us. You know, they're like your little babies, aren't they? They're kind of like part of your life that, I don't know, feels good to kind of sing about. And it doesn't matter how many times that you do it. You know, so that's a really lovely thing about Waiting for Wednesday for me and the songs.
Kind of like a diary.
Yeah.
Audio diary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Did we add something to the songwriting tip at the start, Laura, before I cut you off? Or
I guess in terms of writing, I think it'd just be just to do it and kind of just, you know, you can scribble down ideas, you can scribble down lines, words, whatever, and it doesn't necessarily, like Anna said, you know, it doesn't have to appear polished, you know, in the first sort of like when you first start writing it. I think it's just you can just throw ideas around, you can change it later, you can delete stuff, you can scrub stuff out, and people don't have to see the mistakes, or you know, or they could, and also kind of just to be proud of it and lose your inhibitions a bit, really, because I think what we were saying earlier about how it's so much easier to write when you're younger, maybe part of that is that as you get older you become a little bit more conscious and a little bit more self-aware and a little bit more worried about how you're going to be seen, you know, whereas when you're younger you're a little bit freer, and maybe you kind of need to embrace that younger person inside and just let go of things. And you know, I should probably take my own advice as well with that. Start writing again.
We were, yesterday or the day before, Laura was looking through an old notebook to see if we could find some lyrics and chords that she'd written with George Quinn, and she said that she'd found, you know, hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but lots and lots of songs. And before we've kind of gone through old notebooks of Laura's to kind of see if we can find some inspiration. It is brilliant.
We have a right laugh. There's some hilarious stuff in there.
It's so good. But you know,
Anna used to actually like take them out, and she'd find like a really, really, really embarrassing one. Not just when it was just me and her. And she'd like read it to me in like a really intense American accent. I'd just be like, oh.
Just remember, you know, imagine little 17-year-old Laura like with a pump dress on.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, that's part of it as well, is like just being able to have fun with it and laugh about it as well sometimes, because, you know, we are funny, aren't we? Like when we're alone and we have funny ideas and all sorts of, you know, it's just don't take yourself too seriously.
And just do it as much as possible. I think.
And enjoy it, and try and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I'm similar. I've got, you know, all these old notebooks but I've not got. I don't dare let anyone go through them.
Do it, Ben.
I think when I let Anna go through them, I was probably feeling a little bit more like egotistical than I would be. I had a bit more of an ego.
No, but the thing is, from those books came great stuff. You know, it's all right. There's
a few diamonds.
There's a few diamonds and a bit of rough.
And sometimes it does take an outside perspective, doesn't it? Like when you write something yourself, you can kind of, you know, maybe you remember what you were thinking when you wrote that, and you're like, oh geez, that's so embarrassing. But if someone else saw it and didn't know the rest of that context, maybe like, you know what, that's a really good line there.
Yeah.
So it probably is a really
Yeah,
useful
yeah,
thing
yeah.
to do if you've got someone who you kind of trust to not destroy you over them. And
I am a biggest cheerleader as well. But
Yeah, it's so funny. We've had some right laughs, haven't we, with stuff like that, with songwriting and stuff. Just we've had some fun moments, some emotional moments with it, and just had, you know, just a really good time, really, like writing and performing. So
yeah, it's great advice. I think I remember someone saying to me before, musicians play. That's what you do. You play music, so it should be playful. You should have fun with it. It's not, you don't work music when you do it in a way, but like you play it, so it should be fun. It should be enjoyable. And I think with anything creative, like when you're in that relaxed, playful state, that's when the best things come, isn't it? You can't force it and strain it out. But it is. But I resonate exactly with what you're saying about as you're getting a bit older, it gets harder to get back to that state. And it seems like with you two that you probably bring it out of each other, which I think me and my band have as well. Like when we get together, you get into that So it's harder when you're by yourself to put yourself there, but when you've got the right people around you can get in that fun creative state. And
it's just you know, now especially it's creating time, I think, to do it, isn't it? And like time where we're not being constantly kind of interrupted or by small people.
We need our own cottage somewhere, like out in the sticks, where we could just like a retreat for like the weekend with like a fridge full of wine.
Get the next album.
That's something that we're going to do. I think we're going to make sure we get some proper time in and get some new songs written, because I know that a lot of people are, you know, eagerly waiting for some new stuff out there.
They have been for years.
In fact, the last two albums that we've done, well, one album definitely was kind of a bringing back of some old songs that had never been recorded before. So even when they were done, you know, we were really happy, but everyone had heard it before. So yeah, we really do need some fresh songs. So watch this space. We'll try our best there.
Yeah, I think when you're coming out of the lockdown, I think you're going to have that.
That's it.
Kickstart again.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Good stuff. So let's move into section 3 now, shall we? This is where I ask my guests to share a song that's meaningful to them in some way relating to bereavement. And what I do here is I'll put the link in the description. So if you're not familiar with the song, I'll ask Anna and Laura to introduce it. And then if you want to pause the podcast, you can go and listen to that song and then come back and we're going to have a bit of a chat about it. So what song did you choose for this section?
Anna? We chose a song called The Old Churchyard. It's just we both love it, really, don't we? It's got such it's emotive musically. The lyrics, it's kind of hauntingly beautiful and sad, really.
It was actually played at a friend's funeral as well a couple of years ago, and it was played on piano by a folk singer in a church. An Irish folk singer.
It was just stunningly.
It was
breathtaking, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, and heartbreaking and all of that. But a great thing about this song as well is, it's sad and it's emotive, but it also kind of speaks from the perspective of the person who's dying or died, saying, you know, why be sad for me? I was ready to go, and one of the lines is, why weep for those who will weep no more, which is just incredibly powerful, and I think that kind of it kind of works as a way of healing for the people who are left behind as well, because, you know, of course you cope with your own bereavement and your own sadness, but it's important to kind of be able to let go of people as well and know that they're at peace, and that's the only way that you'll find peace in yourself, is to know that, you know, the person that you love is okay and they've gone on to something else, something better. Yeah,
it's a really beautiful song, really powerful. I hadn't heard it before. It's is it like an old traditional song? It's Pauline Scanlon was the version you sent me, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those songs that's been around for hundreds of years, kind of a folk hymn. but that was one of the versions. I mean, if I could have sent you the one of the lady in the church singing it, it was just kind of, I'd never heard it until that point, but it's really powerful. So that was the version that we sent you, but because that's a very beautiful version.
The closest
as well.
we could find, to what this lady sounded like as well in the church. It's like Anna said, it's a beautiful version what they did with it. It's really nice.
Yeah, and I really like what you said about it's kind of, and in a similar way to Beautiful Road, it's kind of a different perspective on bereavement, isn't it? Where it's like it's not just, like I think a lot of times people have expectations of what you should do in a bereavement and how you should feel.
Yeah.
And it's like it's okay to the accepting someone had a beautiful life, or accepting that they're at peace now and things like that. Especially I was thinking about in terms of people who are long suffering with conditions, and that kind of conflicting feeling people can have when someone's died. It's like
there's almost a bit of relief. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's really reflective in the lyrics kind of throughout that song. Really, it's kind of it's sad. It's got a sad message. It's a slow and beautiful song, but the lyrics are all very uplifting, really, and kind of something that I think anybody who's lost somebody could listen to it and think, wow, maybe everything's going to be okay after all.
Yeah, and the kind of feeling of like you're still connected to them in a way that even though they're gone, in some ways they're not gone properly, and that's just walking through the old grave, the old churchyard, and it being still being close to people in that way. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. Thanks a lot for sharing it with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I just say, Ben, I just think what you're doing at the Swan Song Project is just incredible. I just have to say that, because I think it's
completely amazing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. And it's just a privilege to do. It's I love writing songs for people, and it's it's really a nice thing to do. Thanks a lot for coming on. It's been great to talk to you.
No, it's been really fun and interesting, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll put all your links in the description, so I encourage people to go and follow you, and hopefully we're back gigging before long. And
yes,
have you done any live streams or anything like that?
We haven't actually.
We could do now that we're...
Yeah, we could do now, but it's too difficult. I mean, we're not technological enough to have done it separately from our different houses. So, we and to be honest, I think for us it's more...
more being together, isn't it?
It's the experience of gigging together. So I think we would have found it a little bit strange, to be honest. So we haven't. And also, I think there's kind of something nice about when we have our first gig back. Then it's going to be more exciting because we haven't had that perhaps. And
but maybe a live video on Facebook might be fun.
Well, it might be.
Point. We've never ever done that before. Might be funny.
One of the strange things, I guess, with it is like you don't get the interaction with the audience in the same way, which I know is a big thing for you too.
You've got to read the comments and be like, hi Tracy.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, but hopefully anyway it won't be too long before we're back out in the real world.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for having us, Ben.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and I'll hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, and thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll be back with another episode soon.